You know, over 15 million books in print this man has. One of America's favorite authors. According to this paper right here in front of me, I hold in my hands, he's one of America's favorite authors.
Oh, he
and his
is.
latest book, which comes out actually tomorrow. So you can still pre-order it today, or you can wait till it's out on the shelves. You know, somebody might even put it out early. I don't think they're supposed to, but you never know. A lot of times those guys at, some of the big box stores, they throw it out early because they got it in the back and they just want to throw it out. So maybe you see Black Ice on the shelf today and you get it. But the one paragraph and the sentence that should hook you into this book, then there was an ear-splitting crack. It sounded as if the helo had been hit by lightning. It was followed by the tail rotor completely shearing off, and as it did, the helicopter began to spiral. They were going down.
Oh,
and that's just the prologue. Bragg Thor.
Yes.
How in the world are you, sir?
It's good to see you, Jeff.
It's good to be
as
seen.
well.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Just living the dream here in Nash Vegas.
I love that
baby.
setup. Look at that, man.
Nashville, Tennessee.
I'll-
Not bad.
man.
I'll have what you're having, man.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, congratulations on another book in the series, Scott Harvath. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very good.
So it was another
no,
exciting read, and I made it through this weekend. I knocked it out, Brad. I knocked it out for you, no problem.
Man, Jeffy.
And again, it was another exciting ride for Scott. And this book is available for everyone. Well, I mean, it's obviously available for everyone if you order it online and pre-order it right now. But it's available on the shelves tomorrow, correct?
Correct. July 20th, Tuesday, comes out.
So, are we already at the #1 best-selling list? Black Ice already there?
We'll know in 1 week, so we'll see what happens. I don't cross my chickens. Count my chickens.
I haven't crossed my chickens in a long time,
Yeah.
but you go
Well,
ahead.
I did that twice in college, and I thought, boy, this could lead down a slippery slope.
Don't cross chickens.
Crossing my chickens.
So,
You never know. You want to be careful. I'm very competitive in the sense that it's great to get that #1, but I'm thrilled. So many people read throughout quarantine, and they're still reading. We've just seen this huge spike in books, and it's
Good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
that's great. Well, the character and the areas that he gets involved in is a little frightening sometimes. And I will say, with some of the things that we're looking at going on in the world right now, your character has been dealing with that throughout his career. And, he's out front. This book we're dealing with, it just makes me want to go spend some time in Norway, to be honest with you. And, just to hang out there, let alone what he's doing there. But we're dealing with, the Russians and the Chinese. And this was still pretty much land-based, although you started getting us into space a little bit. I'm trying not to throw too much away from the book, but you started getting us into space a little bit, and we know now that the Chinese are developing their space wars, trying to be even or ahead of us right now. When is Scott headed to the ISS?
After seeing Fast and Furious 9 with my kids over 4th of July, the answer is absolutely no. They ruined it by sending a Fiero to space. It was just, talk about jumping the shark.
I know.
But, it's funny researching this book, and God bless Glenn Beck, because he coined what I do as faction, where you don't know where the facts end and the fiction begins. So this is a great spy novel set against a real world thing going on, which is this power struggle in the Arctic with us and the Russians that now the Chinese have gotten into. And the Chinese are trying to beg, borrow, steal, or bribe their way into the Arctic because they want to become indispensable up there. We have one icebreaker. They've got a ton of them. The Russians have an armada of icebreakers. So the Chinese are trying to be up there to help with rescues. They're trying to buy property up there because as the Arctic ice is melting, and it is 2 times, the temperatures are rising there 2 times as fast as anywhere else, it is opening up all of these areas where the Chinese want to get in and get rare earth metals or natural gas or oil.
And some of the policies we've had over the years opens that up for everyone to have that available to them.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
That's a problem too. And so the Chinese are very, very clever. They have this was kind of funny. Mike Pompeo actually laughed out loud when he heard this remark. The Chinese declared themselves a near Arctic state. The closest Chinese settlement to the Arctic Circle is over 800 miles away.
Right.
So it's nuts. But researching this book, I was stunned to find out the Russians can't keep satellites in space. They are so unsophisticated when it comes to science and technology. They can't make the right wrenches and all this kind of stuff. So the Chinese have been saying, well, we'll let you piggyback on ours if you let us do this because we want to box the Americans out. So my cup runneth over with real factual stuff to put into this novel, this thriller.
So is in once we get out of this, how much longer does Scott have for Brad Thor?
Oh, wait, he answered that question on At the Mic, where he talked about his life story. I asked him, and he told me how many more. What do we got? At least how many?
At least 4, because I just signed a new contract with Simon & Schuster. So we know Harvath's going to be coming back for at least 4 more summers.
I like it.
And so, I mean, it very well could possibly head to the ISS, whether you say no or not.
He says
Brad.
no.
I know he's.
You know what? I'd had enough time to recover from Roger Moore going into space, psychologically and emotionally, that I might have done it, but then the Fiero ruined it for me. I'm sorry.
So how much information do you see and decide, I don't want to put that in. That's too scary. Is there anything too scary?
Yeah, some of that happens. What invariably happens, and we talked about this over the years, about how after 9/11, when the Department of Homeland Security was put together, I was asked to come in and be part of a program called the Analytic Red Cell Unit, which was basically bring creative people who are not in intelligence or the military or law enforcement and help them, help DC stay 4 to 5 steps ahead of the bad guys with creative scenarios.
Yeah.
So invariably what happens with my books, Jeff, is I sit down with people who are active intelligence, active military people, and I ask them questions, and then I go and write the book, and they'll read it, and they'll say, well, wait a second, we told you A, and we told you C, what you've written as B has got to be out of the book. And I said, why? Did I get it right? And they said, we can't tell you. We're just saying B.
It just can't be there.
Yeah, B cannot be there. Yeah, so that stuff does happen. I do find some things. In fact, a couple summers ago, I opened up with Harvath in a big terrorist scenario unfolding at Burning Man in Nevada in the Black Rock Desert. And I don't have top secret clearance, so I don't have to go through a review board with my books. But when that book came out a few summers ago, it triggered a security review by the federal government of everything that goes on at Burning Man. So the Washington Post did a big article about it and stuff. So that it's nice to know the government still follows what I do, but I try to be careful. And then again, if ISIS and Al Qaeda are reading Brad Thor books to get their ideas, they're not. We don't have that much to worry about from them.
Well, I mean, really, if you're right, if you're getting your ideas from Black Eyes, I mean, you're behind the 8 ball already, right? I mean, you're already into the next book. And Scott is, taking a break and a drink and headed back to Salvi in Norway, taking care of a little Harvath business in Norway, waiting for the next case,
he's got
right?
a nice pack and he's taking care of business.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, a couple of Advil and he says, good as new.
Good as new. And all I wanted to do was go to Norway and drink coffee through the whole book. That's all I wanted, Brad.
I got to get a cut from the tourism board, I think. You're not the only one.
No doubt about that. You absolutely should. I really was, to go back to the icebreaker story. So that's actually true. That we only have one, and the other one was broken, and we were trying to get them to work.
So Robert O'Brien, the national security advisor under the Trump administration, has been a good buddy of mine since college. And we talked about the icebreaker situation where we only had one. Another one was basically spare parts. They put in an order to have several more built. But in the meantime, Robert arranged to lease a couple, the big orange Coast Guard stripe on there, put a skiff on board and a couple of, several 50 cal machine guns just to help boost our ability to respond in the Arctic. And what's interesting is the Biden administration wanted to push back against Russia and do something called a freedom of navigation operation, where they wanted to sail the Northern Sea route over Russia. And the Navy came back to the Biden administration and said, we can't. And they said, why? They said, we've got one icebreaker and we guarantee you it will break down in the middle of this show of force, and we'll need the Russians to tow us out of there. So we can't do it. So this is an area where even Mike Pompeo, after he chuckled with the Chinese calling themselves a near-Arctic state,
Right.
Pompeo was very honest, very candid, and said the United States is behind the 8 ball in the Arctic, and we really need to make this a priority. So under the Trump administration, it did become one. I've not seen enough of it in the media, and I thought it was just great fodder for a spy thriller. And politics are downstream of culture. So I'm hoping that people really find this an exciting read and also walk away smarter.
Yeah, they will. Absolutely. Black Ice with my Brad Thor. Absolutely. It was really, really fun and really, really nice to read. So if you're not going actually into space, maybe where are you at with the UFO or UAP world with Brad and with Scott Harvin?
You know what? I'll tell you, that stuff is fascinating to me.
I know.
All of the release, all the videos and the Tic Tacs, and nobody knows what this stuff is. And I'm fascinated. And it's something that I think could be interesting fodder for a novel. Dig into that a little bit more. But there's, what's the old line? The truth is out there. Wasn't that the slogan of the X-Files?
Yes, the truth is out there. Yes, absolutely. And we also have reports that I don't think they were in the papers that were released in their 6 or 7 or 8 page release. That was really nothing much to it with their UAPs, but there were reports that the UAPs, UFOs were actually always keeping track of all our nukes. And I'm not sure that Scott would have anything to do with any of that, but, just another Harvath story for you.
If you can send a Fiero to space, Scott Harvath. I'm just going to keep hammering the Fast and Furious people. Great movie.
No doubt. I don't know that they actually jumped the shark. I thought that about maybe 5 movies ago, and I don't know that they've actually jumped the shark yet. Anyway, Brad Thor, I know you're up against the clock, so I'll let you go. I just wanted to say hello and let you know that Black Ice, if you're ready for a nice read this summer, or you've been part of the series for how many have there been so far?
So this is the 20th in the series, and I tell people it's like the James Bond movies. You don't have to have seen any of the prior ones to go enjoy the latest. So if you want to start with Black Ice, by all means, please do. You can jump right in at this point.
Absolutely, and it'll be available everywhere. It's available everywhere right now, really. I mean, let's be honest.
Not everywhere. Wherever fine books are sold.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Fine books.
If you go to some place, if you usually go to a place that has those crappy books, Black Ice will not be there.
Yeah, and since you can't have the book in your hands until tomorrow, you could spend today hearing about Brad Thor's life story at themikeshow.com, episode 58. Wow. Brad, that was a great conversation, man. A lot of fun. It was great really getting to know your story, man.
Wow.
Thank you, guys.
You're sad.
Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Brad, thank you very much. It was good to see you. All right, peace. Take care. Brad Thor, Black Ice, in his latest edition.